Hello. Early spring, visiting my favorite garden. To start off, I want to show you my devil's walking stick, which is a gorgeous native plant. Well, actually it's more a near native than it is native to my area. And this will actually produce some stunning palm-like leaves. And at this stage, these little tufts on the end are actually edible, but I don't like to tell too many people this because I certainly don't want the neighbors walking by and helping themselves. So on this here, spread out, is a beautiful little ground cover called Barren Strawberry. It should all be in yellow flowers fairly shortly. And yeah, wow, we have further back, we have some Solomon seals just starting up, and some lungwort, and these kind of porcupine looking things are the beginnings of Nippon daisies. And they're a fall color, like a fall white daisy. And they're from Japan, and one of my favorite plants actually. And here we've got native columbines with a number of different geraniums. And here some native diravillas. Particularly fond of these because they produce caterpillars, food for hawk moths. And our poppies, as we can see, are starting to really plump up a bit. These are all the standard orange ones. I do have a couple of different colors, but on the outer area here where there's a lot of tendency towards salt from the road, I tend to put the hardier types. The irises, these are one of my black irises on this corner here. I have such a weakness for irises. This is one of my favorite asters, just getting started here. And today this right here is a Colquitzia shrub, which today I'm going to move into a sunnier spot because the tree has definitely been growing a little faster than I was expecting. Good year last year with a lot of rain. So the silver maple just, expanded its shade by quite a bit. So I need to move this into the sun a little bit more, and I'm thinking about putting a daphnia in its space. A little loud for this type of garden, but I think it should be quite attractive. These here are fritillaria. I have a number of them all the way around the property. Sadly, they're very attractive to just about everybody. Rabbits, squirrels, voles. Yeah, this is a native plant that produces gorgeous white flowers. It's sort of a pearly everlasting. It's also very important for a number of butterfly larvae. And these little alliums are the giant red alliums. They generally would be a much bigger, healthier looking allium, but again, this is right on the edge of the street where there's a lot of salt that ends up slowing down their size development. This rather musical plant is a native Baptisia, and when the wind blows it sounds almost like wind chimes. It's absolutely gorgeous. And our tulips. And this is a plant from Europe that I'm particularly fond of. The stunning little pasque flowers. And of course, one with a Dutch heritage can't go without having tulips. Absolutely necessity, even though the squirrels tend to eat them at an incredible rate. And here are some of my giant alliums, the giganteums. They should get about 3 to 4 feet tall with nice big balls on them, about 10 inches across. They're very expensive to buy each, but well worth it in the long run. Some of my peonies starting to come out. More poppies. These are mostly red ones. This isn't my mama plant. She's the Nippon daisy that I usually do all my cuttings from to create the babies. And here are some Crombie sea kales that they get quite huge later on in the season. Along the back fence I have raspberries planted, and then the trellises are for several different colors of clematis. This here is my yellow tree peony, the little witcha. And this one is also another tree peony, but this one is white. And I don't have a name on this one. It was one of those ones I got on sale somewhere with no tag. But it's a stunner, that's for sure. And then these are more standard peonies. And this area here is my wet garden. The actual when the rain comes in on the roof here, it actually comes down through a pipe and then comes down under the ground and ends up pouring into the garden at this point here. And that's why I have this false hellebore here and a number of other plants that really, really appreciate the extra moisture. I just love spring. You get to walk around and see so many wonderful things. Oh, and these little guys are doing so good. Yes, indeed. And we have the strawberries that are everywhere as the ground cover. Those are actually a native strawberry, a woodland strawberry, that I utilize to try to keep the soil cooler, because we have a lot of problems with this area really heating up in the summertime. And then I've already done a heavy prune on all the roses and shrubs over here, which I haven't quite cleaned up from yet, but starting to get along. And here in the back is one of the smaller magnolias. It's starting to come close to putting out some of its blooms. And then we have some espalier pear apples. And in the pots at the back are blueberries. And those are garlics that are in the raised bed. We have a number of spring ephemerals here. And you can see our tulips are just, some of our red tulips just starting to come up. And our blood roots had some beautiful blooms, but sadly the squirrels came along and nipped off all the tips. That's sort of pretty common here. And then this is one of our e-toes, a beautiful white called Prairie Moon with a lovely yellow center. And this is another native plant called a Virginia waterleaf. And I usually use this to provide shade and cover for this, what looks like a little pile of dead sticks right now. But this is a spigelia, which is native into Quebec and the East Coast. It's a beautiful little plant to attract hummingbirds. And yeah, wow. So yeah, it's always nice to go through in the spring and discover things. Some little wood violets, rhododendrons. Looks like, again, squirrels have come in and nipped off some of the buds, so I may not have as many flowers as I was hoping. And these guys that are in bloom are haskaps. Quite delicious if we actually end up with any ahead of the robins, because man, they come in and they just start screaming, and you try to eat your own haskaps and they yell at you as though you're a total thief. And wow, it looks like the little pear apples are just starting to come into bloom. They're going to be quite pretty. I did a pretty heavy prune on them in February because they were getting a little out of control. So, but they're looking like they're going to still produce quite a bit of fruit. And this is one of our fancy, this is Amber Jubilee, one of the fancy 9-barks. And actually I'll be digging this up to go to somebody else's garden. But for now, we get to enjoy it. And those green flags that were all along the front, Those are there to train dog walkers to not let their dogs poop in the garden. And I can tell you that dogs are definitely a lot easier to train than dog walkers. So that's why the flags. And generally by June I can usually pull them out. They've usually learned by then. Anyhow, I just thought I'd let people see how my favorite garden is doing. And yeah, everyone have a great day.